Righto, punters. Part two.
Emerald Hotel.
So look, since we were last here, DK, I've had a couple of weeks that haven't been 100% happy with. Been a bit grubby, you know, just scratching around for bets, which can happen in those crossover periods. I've mentioned them a lot over the years on the show. They're really difficult times, and I think you've got to bet your way through them. But I think it's just a time to be a little bit conservative. So when I talk about crossover, I mean the crossover of the seasons, and the winter horses are going out, the spring horses are coming in.
That's
so
right, a lot of resumers, getting fit, you know.
And you have a lot of races where there's a fly in the ointment, like so. I just sort of feel sorry for me and my punters, but because we backed it. But you know, David Pfeiffer brings his mare down in the last race on Saturday. Her name escapes me. I'm excited. I think.
No, I'm excited.
I'm excited. And does everything right, beats the rest of them. But there's Ellie Kazoon.
Ellie Kazoon,
first up,
Wooshka
from WA, new stable, blinkers on, draws 19, or draws the widest gate, and just runs out of a skid. So I mean, that's what can happen this time of year.
Brian
twice.
You run into Brian. Old mate Brian. Pots and Brian. No thanks.
I mean, the trouble is with a horse like that, because he's 6 or 7 or whatever he is.
I backed him when he won his maiden. I remember when he won his maiden at Warrnambool maybe 3 years ago. He only won by that much, but he got up for me, Brian. But
I backed him a couple of times at Warrnambool.
That was his level.
That's his level, you know what I mean? So you sort of have horses pegged. Like he's in the category for me, or he was, never to be backed in town. He'll never win a city race. Well, he's now won 2. At distances short of what I thought he could even win a provincial race at. So I mean, both times he's got this amazing run through and everything.
Amazing how these happen when you are having not when you're flying.
But I did quite like Oberland on Saturday, and it just didn't quite go right. And
Brian, there he was to beat you.
Anyway, so I probably lost similar amounts the last 2 weeks. Last week I wasn't unhappy with it. I felt like a lot of the analysis work I did was good. The betting was quite solid. Just didn't quite work out, you know what I mean? Backed a few winners, but a couple of good results just missed. And anyway, the results didn't fall, but I wasn't disappointed. The week before, I made at least 3 really poor unforced errors, and I was like furious.
Give us an example of one of them? Or?
Yeah. So first of all, it started on the Wednesday at Sandown. Shoko was coming.
Off the Wangaratta Maiden.
Off the Wangaratta Maiden on the Saturday, which is a 5-year-old mare that made a debut in that Wangaratta Maiden.
That's right. Yeah, he had 4 preps or something with all sorts of issues, but anyway.
So in those secondary meetings on Saturday, the maidens tend to be a bit weaker than they are on sort of the Tuesday or Thursday.
That's right. Yep.
Provincial meetings. So I'm always trying to be a bit wary of them anyway. And the field that she met was. There was some pretty miserable horses in it, you know, some battlers. However, what happened in that race was they came out of the gates and it was game on from the minute they jumped. They went flat out throughout, and they were falling over a bit late. So her effort to win it had merit. It certainly would have provided her with an excellent fitness space for her next start wherever they went. And they come to town, and like she was running into Miss Pandanus, who's a mare that I have got an opinion of, not a sort of. Miss Pandanus has got lengths on you, and I just was stubborn about it. Marked Shoko $8, I think, and had a really strong bet on Miss Pandanus. And so then, in the morning, Shoko was 280, Miss Pandanus. Well, about 280 each of 2. That's about what it was. And I thought I'll come for Miss Pandanus and Shoko will drift because she's got to improve too much. And the problem was I'm looking at the map saying. It's Linda Meach, she's going to control the map, and this horse is very fit off that Wangaratta run. But I thought, nah. And then I see a few other good judges that I know, they've all marked Shoko short. I start thinking, if I made a blue here, I might have, but I still think Miss Pandanus
still okay, yeah.
I think Talent's going to win out here. Yeah. And then as the final 10 minutes of betting starts, and every big team, one after the other, just flies into Shoko, and all of a sudden, even money gets. I can tell you at that point, I knew who'd made the mistake. I'm just sitting there saying, "This is just I'm just no chance." Now, in the end, Shoko beats Miss Pandanus by 3/4 of a length, but in my view, you could run that race 50 times, and Shoko would win at 50.
Yeah.
And I have just made a complete shocker.
And then you get annoyed at that, yeah.
And made an expensive mistake because it was there to see. And I just got stubborn. And
yeah, which
it can drift into your game, you know.
For sure.
Drift slowly.
And you need to pay the penalty.
Yeah.
To sort of learn from it. You know, you said financially you were heavily involved as well.
So then we moved to Moonee Valley on Saturday, and I walked the track on Thursday, and it still had quite a bit of moisture in it, and but there was some early spring weather around on both Thursday, Friday and Saturday, and that track was going to dry out, and I really should have gone back and had a second look either Friday afternoon or Saturday morning, because that track dries right out. And when Moonee Valley dries out, it tends to crumble, particularly from the school to the Tabaret, and it can get incredibly one pace, particularly if it's on pace. If the rail's out, and that was a mistake for me not to do that, and I didn't factor in enough on-pace bias into my assessments, so I paid the penalty for that, most of that card. And the big mistake I made there was just staring at me right in the eyes. Well, Strike Force was going to be on pace in that race, and he had hardly had 2 previous Moonee Valley runs, and if he produced either of those ratings, he was going to be in the finish anyway. And then he had the bias on his side, and I'll posed him to back the passage, coming off the PR at Sandown. Just a magnificent Mark Zara ride. Now Mark Zara rode him perfectly again, but so that was mistake number 2. Can't remember what the third one was. The third one was the Hay Sprinter, Fartner. 1,000 metre horse, 1,000 metre race. So there you go. Now the reason I'm bringing that up is that we talk a bit about the Oracles DK and every time they tip a winner, they sprang and everything else. First of all, I'd say to the punters out there, anytime you hear anyone talking about a small sample, so one race is a very small sample, 1 week is a small sample, 1 month's not a particularly big sample. So anytime you hear anyone talking about results over anything less than 3 months, just ignore them. So winning's about doing the right things consistently over long periods of time.
Long-term view,
And in my view, when I don't mind getting beat, but I hate giving things away. And on that week, I felt like 3 times I just made myself very vulnerable and just giving stuff away, and you don't get it back.
No, and that's when I get really, really annoyed. I get exactly the same thing. That's you get beaten by your pepper in the score, and like you said, you feel good 1 week, but you make could you say unforced errors? Unforced errors, And when you pay the penalty, you've got to learn from them, and they only make you stronger. But it's bloody annoying. But just on the long-term view, I was just this morning. Thanks, Mark Road, and I missed it when Jake must have sent it first out. But the most recent betting pod, they've got two guys from America on sports betting, and I saw it and I was like, well, that's not my forte. So I'll just miss it. And then Mark Roden, the rat who we used to work with at Sportsbet, tweeted out last night. He said, if you bet on anything, spend an hour listening to this, you'll get something out of it. And the two guys who were college roommates, both betting on sports, but both one was data driven, completely data driven. The other one was more feel and some, doing a lot more, watching a lot more and things like that. But they reinforce a lot of things about, but particularly the long-term view. What you're talking about, it has to be all taken in the long-term view, because Jake, as he does with most people, how do you handle losing runs and things like that. And also the bankroll management. They said that's nearly the most important thing. It's finding winners, but then they said, well, bankroll management probably is the most important thing. So you just make sure betting pod on Twitter and go and have a listen to episode 60 or 61, I think it is.
I haven't listened yet, and I'm going to. Soon we're going to have stuff. I'll listen to that tonight, because a lot of those business of betting podcasts that Jake's done have been stuff that's not our forte, but I've got something out of all of them. Well,
I just thought I was sports betting, well, not me, But,
So I'm looking forward to that.
That's where a lot of education, a lot of education. I listened to the Robbie Waterhouse once, and you just listen to the sort of Waterhouse story and things like that. But then you just picked up bits and pieces. He spoke about a punter, a successful punter. He said, I knew one guy who marked his top pick 11-2 on, and he made a lot of money. A lot of money.
It's interesting, isn't it?
And that got me thinking, because I like backing less in a row. I like to have 1 or 2, and I thought, what if I marked my top pick everyone evens? How would I go? I said, I'll pick them, and all 6-4 or odds on, but it just got me thinking,
So I suppose the key to that is, I think, I'm just thinking that what I thought when I heard that was that means that every time he can't mark 1 11-2 on, he doesn't get involved in that race. So it helps him eliminate a lot of marginal races or whatever. He's only getting involved in the ones where he's going, this and this, so I could mark this horse odds on.
Box tick, the real box ticker sort of adage, less is more. So it's good stuff. So plenty of nuggets and pearls on there to educate people, which we're up for,
Absolutely.
Good on you, Jake. done a great job.
He's a good man.
Yeah, no, he's doing a great job.
Oh,
60 episodes on there now, and I mean, you've done one, didn't you, Bots? And yeah, a lot of good people on there have done. And people are quite honest in what they give up. He says, look, don't give away all your IP, but what can you offer? And these two guys are really good, as most guests were, offering up things to help and educate people. It's terrific.
He just keeps finding interesting people, a lot of which I haven't heard of.
No,
some we have. But,
yeah. And all aspects, the old-fashioned form to the data, model-driven, and it was good. These two guys were both one of each sort of thing,
Yeah.
So yeah.
So how we go? We've got just a few minutes to talk about the upcoming introduction of the new trials jump out policy in Victoria.
I got an email from you. When was it? It's this Alexandra dreaming, and he said there's not a jump out for this horse that's starting at Caulfield tomorrow, and I thought.
Sandown.
I saw Alexandra something, but I didn't. I saw Ronan's Rock in the race, and that thing that ran second to More Joyce was in the race. I thought, I'm not playing in that race. Leave me out, first starters, and then it's won at 50s, and then someone said, well, it was under another name in the jump out,
Alexandra
Magic or something, and I said, this is. And then you said, well, I said, wasn't this supposed to be? Well, we were sort of under the understanding that as of August 1, if you were going to start in a metropolitan race, you had to publicly.
No trial or jump out, no nom.
No nom. You can't nom. Yeah, you can't nom. So it's 2 days. I think there's some correspondence in it into, but a day or two after that happened, the announcement was made that is it Metro? All footage from jump outs, all venues who run jump outs have to make publicly available footage.
Yeah.
And hopefully, following on from that.
There's going to be 3 sites, so that's an improvement to what we've currently got. It's still not a big. I think my personal view is that Racing Victoria should take control of it, and all of them should be viewable at racing.com on the one platform. But maybe we'll move towards that in the future.
The clubs own it, so the clubs own their training establishments and things like that. That's the.
So the Caulfield ones, so the Caulfield, Mornington, and Balnarring and stuff like that will still be available on the MRC
which
website.
Is terrific, yeah.
The VRC one, which is the Flemington and Werribee jump outs, are all there, and that's and you can search that nicely now, which is good. And then all the other jump outs, which are wide and varied and everything, are going to be on. I just
had a look at a Ballarat jump out. The most recent jump outs are now under the same platform as the Flemington VRC ones.
Okay, right.
The same sort of setup.
Yeah.
But if you want to see who the jocks are and things, you still got to click on your PDF file. So the jocks aren't in those, obviously. You just pick your jock because you normally get the list of jocks at Ballarat. It's the only ones where you do get the list of jocks. But they're in that format where you can search the name and click on the trial and things like that. So,
is that on the Country Racing website?
No, it's on there. It's on the Ballarat Turf Club. They're very proactive. I mean, they're really, they're a very proactive club, like in Mackenzie and everyone up there, So, but Ballarat, Bendigo needs to come on board. Cranbourne need to get their act into gear. I mean, there's still going to be,
Yeah. So while ever there's different platforms, there's going to be errors with, So I should have mentioned the one at Caulfield was clearly just human error. Someone who typed up the sheet just put in the wrong name, and these things happen. I mean, we all make mistakes. That's fine. I mean, that can happen. But if it was brought back to a central point, and that would minimise the errors, it would be better for everyone. But at least it's a step in the right direction. They've finally listened to us, and hopefully we'll have less and less races where there are runners that we've never seen before.
And have the metropolitan rule enforced at some stage in the near future. Hopefully they're still working.
Well, it's supposed to be from October 1. So
October 1.
The only reason it didn't come in for August 1, they just had the teething issues and they had to buy themselves a bit more time. So
well, it's moving in the right direction. I think when it came out, there's lots of cheers and things like that. So I mean, I think Paul Bloodworth and the people in there, they're sort of trying to get on top of it. But it's obviously they've got a big dealing with different stakeholders, clubs and trainers and things like that. It is 2018 and wagering drives the industry, so
that's what it's all about, and it's the best time of year, DK. So we're in early spring. Things will only continue to get better. We'll patiently build up towards the when the form really comes solid towards the end of September. So good time to be betting punters. Thanks for that, and that'll do us.
That'll do us, I reckon. Yeah,
we'll come back again in a couple of weeks or something like that.
Kybe Diva or whenever it is, a couple of weeks.
Cheers, DK.
Funny Potsy, good to see you.